Folks, this is the guy I've been hyping up for 15 minutes now, but he's in the flesh here, coming from the UK. What time is it over by you, bro? It's 9:37?
No, our clocks changed for British winter time, so it's 8:37.
Oh, okay. So it worked out even better for you.
Yeah, because I was, but anyway, I'm here now, so it's fantastic.
All right, my man. So listen, I was just talking you up. I just want everybody to know that this is my buddy now. We've become pretty close just on, FaceTiming each other through WhatsApp, sharing ideas. He's my business partner and my friend, but he happens to hold a lot of clout in the wellness and fitness field. He's a celebrity of sorts in the UK. He's been featured in the Mirror, the Sun, New York Times. He's an author of a few books. He's literally created something we're going to talk about today, about extending your midlife, guys, about where we are right now. All of us are talking about biohacking and sleeping a little better, or taking the cold showers, or doing intermittent fasting, all these things you can do to improve your life. And Wayne has basically come up with a concept called meta-agers, meta-aging. We are meta-agers, guys. I don't know, some of you are. I know I am. I know Wayne is. And believe it or not, this gentleman is 65 years old. He's 65 years young. So I'm going to we'll just do a little Q&A, but I just rather pass it over to you so you can just tell everybody a little bit about yourself and why you strategically chose your Somaderm journey to be the way it is. You did it the right way. And I want people to just, know a little bit about you. So you got the floor, my friend. Let's just say hello to the U.S., some of my people, and floor is yours, buddy. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My Somaderm journey. I have been working on slowing the aging process now for, I would say, 10 years. My journey started 16 years ago, my late mother's nursing home. At my late mother's nursing home, there were 2 floors. There were the able-bodied people that were at the top, and then people like my mother that needed care, i.e. she was disabled. And when I looked in their living room, their common room, the floor that she was on, it was like sitting down watching. They were in God's waiting room. But on the second floor, where the people were able-bodied, they were in their 70s and their 80s. There weren't as many of them, but they were up there living a full life. And it struck me, and I thought, what if we could invest in old age? I mean, truly invest in it. Because life is like a bank balance, and people keep taking out without giving back. So I then started on this journey with exercise, the way I was eating, and I've tried several supplements. I have a friend here in the UK that's always inviting me. She's a holistic practitioner. She's always inviting me to the next best thing. And I think that my cupboard's full of things that I've tried over the years. And I'm going to cut to the chase. I've written 3 books. My first one was about adopting the attitude, and needed the discipline to do what I do. The second book was called Lone Wolf, Wiser, Older, Leaner, Fitter. And that was about becoming a super ager. Obviously, younger than your biologically younger than your chronological age. And my third book, it was when everything came together, and I called it Meta-Age. Now, the story of actually getting the name registered Meta-Age, everybody was thinking there is no way that you're going to get that name Meta, because Facebook are going to be down on you like a ton of bricks. It took me 6 months to get the name, but I did get the name because we did all sorts of things in the background. Now, my Somaderm story, my friend, the holistic practitioner, she introduced me to Somaderm. It was November last year. She claimed it was the next best thing since sliced bread. And it was a term that she's used for virtually a number of things that she introduced to me. So I did the usual thing. My eyes rolled up to the sky, and I wanted to believe it to be true. And so I went onto your site, and I saw all you guys lathering up and putting your, I just went, oh, give me a break. And I saw people after 4 weeks looking lean and muscular. And over here in the UK, we're so reserved. And although I was beginning to feel changes after a short while, I knew it was psychosomatic, because I wanted to believe it was true.
Sure.
You know, I wanted to believe that something was happening. But the pivotal moment was after taking it for 4 weeks, 6 weeks. My friend said, you know, you can make a ton of money from this. And I said, just don't get the point. I'm just looking for something that works. And if it works, then I will tell people about it. So 3 months down the line, I've now written my 3rd book, and we're in March and I'm launching my 3rd book. And she said, now is the time to talk about your Somaderm journey. I said, not yet. I still got to be on this stuff for a while, because 12 weeks for me wasn't enough. It's just like a training program. When I'm training boxers, there's always a 12-week program to get them from this level to that level. So it took me some time. Then I did my inquiries and I saw an article in one of our pivotal newspapers called the Guardian newspaper. And it absolutely slaughtered Somaderm.
The infant piece, yes.
It slaughtered Somaderm.
In that article, thank you. Yeah, great.
It slaughtered Somaderm and its users and the people that sold it. They called you charlatans.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously it made me think about it. And this wasn't just an entry article. Normal features are normally 800 words. Major features are 1,200 words. Somaderm was dedicated over 3,000 words.
Yeah.
It's a mammoth article. So I read it and I just thought, you see, I'm the kind of guy that would read something, and if it's so one-sided, I'm asking a question, well, hang on a moment, you haven't given the other side the opportunity to say anything. So I carry on because it's working for me. As I said to you, I launched my 3rd book in March, and I had a lot of press coverage. In fact, I was in every national newspaper, bar 2 in the UK. I was on national television and radio. I was on our biggest breakfast TV show. You can see the link, it's on my website. They asked me, how old am I? And I said, I'm meta age. And the producer and the people that were hosting the show, they had earpieces in. So they had a production company getting answers. And when they asked me how old I was, and I just said meta age, they weren't figuring on me saying that. So it went, the host, all he could do was laugh nervously and think, what the fuck is that? You know, but anyway, that said, it was a very stressful time for me. And when I'm stressed, I get psoriasis, because on the outside, I come across as a smiley, cool, calm person. But on the inside, sometimes, like a lot of us, there's turmoil. But we've always got this exterior that's always very easygoing.
Sure.
But my psoriasis has a way of going and coming out on my face. And it's in the most hideous areas. And this is now where the Somaderm story really works. It didn't stop my psoriasis. I still got psoriasis, but what it did was the healing process was infinitely faster. I'd get a little patch and within days it was gone. It wasn't there for the standard 2 weeks with the scarring afterwards. And that was, what was I doing differently? I was still using my body lotion, still taking other things. The difference was the Somaderm. So I carried on. Now, 8 months into it, I thought, I want to speak to the guy himself. I wanted to speak to Alexei. And it was John that set up the conversation that I had with Alexei. And I had a brief conversation with Alexei. And to tell you the truth, it was two like-minded people coming together. John just sat there with his jaw open. And after my conversation with Alexei, he said, the energy that ran between the two of you was phenomenal. Am I right, John?
It was, you were volleying incredible ideas back and forth, same philosophies, two like-minded people addressing the hugest issue. How are we going to solve or address aging the way you're addressing it, and now hormone balancing? But the fact that you did what you did, because I didn't get your thing, right? You and I were not butting heads, but you were like, no, man, No, mate, I've got a strategy. I'm not going out there and just vomiting like some telemarketing commercial, infomercial where, hey, I've got huge muscles. I've been on this for 4 weeks. You were like, no, man, I want to use it in silence, quiet, myself, 6 months before I give it the stamp, because you have a reputation. And when I tell you, I'm so glad you did this, because again, maybe it's a British way of being like, we're going to talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room, but you said, let's address the Guardian article. I want to address it because it was a hit piece from 2018. A woman came to an event in New Jersey. She just lambasted the company, the product, without trying it, without interviewing the CEO, without interviewing the founder, without interviewing any of the leaders, just absolutely eviscerated us, crushed us. And it was an obvious hit piece. And since that time, we've sold 9 million bottles of this thing that doesn't work, 9 million bottles, and we're in 15 countries. And we have wellness practitioners from all over the globe that look at this energy medicine and look at this nano medicine and say, wow, where have you been my whole life? This stuff is moving the dial. So Wayne brings, you not only bring a lot of credibility, but the strategy is, now I get it. Like I told you the other day, for the first time on WhatsApp, we had a video conversation, and I was like, now I get it. Like now I think I totally get it.
Here in the UK, you've tried to launch it, but it hasn't really grasped in the way it grasps. It's meant to, and the reason being is because of the internet. You can just go on the internet, and you can go. And every time people look up Somaderm, the Guardian is considered one of the top. Well, it's a very socialist newspaper, but it's the top socialist newspaper. And all you go to the Guardian, you go to the website, and the third entry is this Guardian article lambasting Somaderm, absolutely destroying it. And I felt that needed to be addressed first. And so now I'm in my 10 months. I've written an article that's going to be published in a magazine called Sustain Health Magazine. And it will be on my site, but you'll be able to access it in the next few days at Sustain Health. And I've addressed it. And I said it's really, really clever, because I learned from Alexia and from John that the person who instigated the article was a former employee who now works for a rival company, who's a tech wizard. And I wrote in the article, so that other people can read what my take on it is, that he's now working for a rival company, and no matter how much money New You Life will throw at trying to get this off the rankings, they will just put their money back in and get it back up there on page 1. And I in the article, I called it a master stroke, because they've got a national newspaper doing the hit job for them.
That's right.
But when people read my article, they're going to be able to say, this is why. This article is 4 years old. It's 4 old years.
Yeah.
Moved on. And in the UK, I'm known as the midlife fitness guru. And John's right. Yes, I am 65. And biologically, we've had my bloods done. My biological age is 48. So, and I've had major injuries. I've had 8 invasive surgeries, from a fractured skull, broken nose, dislocated both shoulders, 4 major knee operations. I've had the whole works. And I've built up my credibility, but not just that, authenticity. And that's what I wanted to bring to Somaderm, was the authenticity of my story. Nobody can knock the way that I look physically. No one can doubt what I say, because I'm living proof. I walk my talk. And I didn't come away after a few weeks of using Somaderm saying, oh, it's the next best thing since sliced bread. I kept my gunpowder dry. And when I spoke to Alexei, he said, and these are his words, he said that every Somaderm user wants to be a meta-ager.
Fact.
Right? They want to extend, the whole thing is you're going to extend your midlife. So midlife ends at the age of 60, 65, and then it's old age. Now, I would hazard a guess that Somaderm users don't want to be be called old
No.
agers. Right? They want to extend their midlife and have a very, very short old age. You know, I would liken it to going to your Disney at the age of 90 and then popping off dead there. You
There
know,
you go.
I'm still enjoying life. So my philosophy, where Alexi said that every Somaderm user should be a part of Meta Age because that's what you guys want. And now I'm flipping that and saying that every Meta Ager should use Somaderm.
No doubt about it.
That's the message that I'm going to get.
Yeah.
And what I need from you guys, I need you to join Meta Age in the same way that Alexia and John have joined Meta Age. On there are exercise programs. It's a one-stop shop for editorial as well. We've got great stories that's all about extending midlife. How do we cope with midlife? It's anything from a relationship. You know, a relationship in your 40s, 50s, and 60s is not the same as what it was in your teens, 20s, and 30s. You've got different needs, you've got different priorities. The way that we move our body, everything that I am about, it's not in my 20s, it was like my sons. I wanted to get big guns.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm talking to my clients, it's all about their posture, it's all about your mobility. So that's what my exercises are geared towards. I'm not dismissing any other form of exercises. I'm just talking about what I do. And I've had good fortune with my program. The Condé Nast Vogue magazine did a list of the top 10 spas in the world, and I've taught at 5 of them. I get paid to go abroad and teach the Meta Age program. And I'd like to believe that I'm not buying into a product, I'm buying into a family. And as a family, I will support you, but I would expect, I said to John and Alexi that, and this is the honest truth, I'm going to say something that John might think, wow, that's a bit close, Wayne. I said to him, I'm not going to say anything until I see some love coming back my way. Is that
Totally. Listen, reciprocity is a thing that I kind of learned in the business world where, you know, one hand washes the other, and you rub my back, I rub your back, but there's a synergy in the messaging here. You're not looking for handouts. I'm not looking for you to be a spokesperson. You know what Alexi said to me? Because of our relationship, you and I, he entertained taking the call immediately. And then when he got to meet you, he was just blown away. And then he said to me offline, without you listening in, this guy is a huge asset. I can't wait for him to be a diamond. This guy's a diamond in the rough. He's good looking, got the British accent. This cool black dude. He's 65. He's biological 48, but probably mentally you and I are in our 30s still. And we have to speak volumes to people out there. We have to just love on people, let them know, you know, you had the shocking experience watching your mom fade away and seeing so many other people. I see it in the US all the time. I see people that are way younger than me that are already debilitated. And I don't want to think for them. I say to myself, God, I don't want to see what your life is going to look like 5, 6, 7, 10 years down the line if you're already in a really precarious position.
Imagine this, because of my 3 books, and over here, John, I should tell people that only in the last 4 weeks, the NHS in this country, and it's known across the world, there's one group of the NHS, which are probably national, but they're actually backing Meta Age. And that is huge, with the NHS supporting a Meta Age project that I am doing. Now, for the region...
To give it a little scope, folks, it's like the AMA in the US, the NHS in the UK. So can you imagine the body, the medical body, the body that oversees practitioners, clinics, are saying to Wayne, you've got our stamp of approval. Real quick, before you go any further, tell everybody about what you're doing with the kids, because it's very reminiscent of what Arnold tried to do years ago. Tell everybody up to speed with 6.
Okay, I've got a program called Super 6. Super 6, it's 6 doable exercises for children. And what we're doing is that we've gone into schools. We started off with 6 schools, and just recently for National Fitness Day, we managed to have just over 1,100 children, 5, 6 years of age, doing these exercises. And it was just the most beautiful sight you can ever imagine. But the idea is that the meta age Super 6 is going to be, and our aim is for it to be part of the school curriculum, these exercises. So when these 6-year-olds, 5-year, 6-year-olds go into their senior school, they will be doing these exercises. It will be an intrinsic behavior. And they will have these exercises part of a warm-up, part of a cool-down, but they'll understand these 6 exercises, but they'll understand the term meta-age. And we're going to have a series of books called Meta-Age Kids. And what these kids will learn, they'll learn about the meta-age Super 6. They'll know what meta-age is. It's to extend midlife to have a short old age. We're using children, well, I'm using children, it's naughty, but we're using children to actually turn to their parents and say, I don't want you to be an old ager, I want you to be a meta-ager, mummy and daddy. Every child has got a carer, a mother or a father, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine this time round, I've got a meeting on Wednesday. Now, the guy that I was using, he's got 10 schools and we had 6 of them participating. I have a meeting on Wednesday, a guy who's got teachers that go into 200 schools. Now, we did that with 6 schools, 1,000 kids. Imagine what we're going to do. And there's another people. We're going to have 300 schools for this Easter challenge. We're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of children doing the meta-age Super 6 challenge. Meta-age. It's drumming the term meta-age. And so what we're going to do, we're going to have so many meta-age, people like yourselves joining meta-age, that what it does, when you're actually selling Somaderm, you'll say, but one of the guys who uses Somaderm, this is him. He's the creator of meta-age. This is where he's been. He's been in every national newspaper. He's been on television. He's authentic. He's been known to actually speak his truth. But we're going to have children telling their parents about meta-agers, teachers knowing about meta-agers. And when they find out, wow, these meta-agers, they all use this thing called Somaderm. It's so fucking, sorry, it's so subtle. It's just so subtle.
Well, it's like, it's grassroots. You know, I'm a salesperson. I've been in direct sales for 32 years. I never got behind a product or a service I didn't like or love. When I was involved with my last company, we created a culture that was amazing. It was all about renewable energy technologies and being a responsible steward of this planet. And when they closed their doors and this came into my life, I couldn't tell you how excited I was, not only to try it, but to market it. I'm like, wait a second, we've got something that is homeopathic, that has a track record of already 15 years at the time. It was 20, this original formula is 21 years old. It's a homeopathic remedy designed to balance the endocrine system. So when Wayne says, you know, we're going to talk about meta-agent, we're creating a grassroots movement together. It's going to be just awareness, education. Hey, did you know? Did you know? Did you know? And you start to look at the people that are, some of them are on here. My girlfriend Liz here, my little sister, you know, she's got 3 kids, heart transformation. You know, when I started to get the feedback from people in the field, like, dude, I don't know if it's psychosomatic, like you just said, because listen, we want stuff to happen sometimes. We want it so bad. Maybe it's the mind a little bit.
We've got a guy, sorry, but we have got a nutritional, a dietitian called Tim Spector. He's all over everywhere, in all the news, and he completely rubbishes any supplement completely. You can't do battle with people like that, and the reason being is that he's selling his own program.
Of course,
he's selling his Zoe. It's called Zoe, but what I'm saying is that the reason I'm teaming up with Somaderm is not just on the sales front, is to actually get people to say, look, this is how many members we've got. This is who we are. And I want to build the platform. And because I've got a news magazine, because a good friend of mine has Sustain Health magazine, I'm going to be able to promote the hell out of this. And it's in order for it to actually work, Andy's got to see how many members there are of MetaAge to keep it on his site. He's actually created a site called, on his page, he's got a MetaAge section. And what that means for New You Life is phenomenal. What that means for you guys is that you're going to have somewhere that is your very own outlet. And it's in the UK. But hey, listen, who doesn't read stuff from around the world? And that's the beauty of what we're doing. And as I said to Alexi, I know that you agree, and I agree with what you're doing. If ever there's a win-win situation, this is it. This is a win-win.
No doubt about it. Listen,
you've got people, you've got doctors, you've got users yourself. I want people who are using Somaderm, who have got a genuine story, that we can feature them in the MetaAge magazine. You know, this is the opportunity that I want to present to Somaderm, for the users, for the people who are selling, talking about how it's helped them. We can have a section called real life stories. And as it grows, with the NHS, I have got a meeting with them on Thursday. So on Wednesday, I've got a meeting with the schools. On Thursday, I've got a meeting with the NHS. 300 doctor surgeries that the MetaAge is going to go into. Each doctor's surgery's got 5,000 patients. We got in the Northwest region, so that's where I'm going to, 300 GP SAT practice, 5,000 patients. They're going to put the MetaAge Super 6 on their video boards. So when someone's sitting down in the reception area in the practice, they'll see this thing called MetaAge. When they pick up a leaflet, there won't be lots of leaflets because of, you know, they don't want to have them kicking around. But what I'm saying to you guys, that Northwest covers 2.8 million people. I'm not saying that 2.8 million people go to the doctor's surgery, but even if we got 10% of that seeing MetaAge, and then 10% of that bought Somaderm or bought into the idea, it's just great. It's a great.
It's infinite. I said it last night on our training call. I did a training call. I'll get you the recorded version of it. I really want you to listen to what I had to offer as far as just my experience in the industry for a long, long time, and understanding, like, when you have something special and it's a category creator and it's really unique and brilliant, and people don't know what they don't know. So the confused mind is always going to say no. The skeptical mind is always going to question. The analytical or critical mind is always going to go like, yeah, right. Because that's how people react to things. They just don't know. But when you have tens of thousands of, like you said, your story, we do the Gel and Tells. I host it tonight. And it's 8 p.m. Eastern. We do Gel and Tell, GELNTELL.com. And not only do we give away a couple bottles, but it's a male and a female testimonial. And the thing I get from all of them is that these people say, I will be a geller for life. And the transformations are anything from improved sleep, libido, to sense of well-being, to more energy, to quicker recovery, flexibility, libido, bone density, joint health. I mean, there's 40 known benefits associated. What you're talking about too, and what we want to bring to the table, is just lifestyle, adopting a new lifestyle, not just a product, but hey man, if I'm going to buy into this, I want to get up, I want to move. Bodies in motion tend to stay in motion. Wayne is an example of, so, and I know how bad your stuff was, man. Your shit was banged up, 8 surgeries, invasive knees, shoulders, skulls, or you're fracturing your skull, your nose. I mean, when you've been through that much, you know what it feels like to be in pain, to recover, to take baby steps just to get back to normal. But unfortunately, the bar for people is so low that this new norm is, well, I'm always headaching. Oh, I always have lousy sleep. My plantar fasciitis is bothering me. That should not be the norm. We don't want that to be the norm. We want vitality, energy. We want people to move. We want people to experience the fullness of life. And that's what I'm all about. And when I met you, you blew my mind because it was like, oh, dude, this is the black British older version of me, but the guy who's got chops. I mean, you've got some serious chops because you did it the right way. You do it the right way, and your credibility and authenticity is what we're not only tapping into, we're partnering with. And I think that people are going to understand that meta age. It's going to be a thing on sitting on your shoulder. Like, where do I know that from? Who is that dude? Where did I hear that from?
Well, it's not, you see, it's about us. And this is what I'm saying. I used the term when early on in this call, family. My family, we've got something called a challenge going on. It starts next month. It's called the Push Up and Squat Challenge. And we're going to do it right the way through to January the 1st. Now, we've got lots of boys in our family. And we did one over the summer. And I did one in the UK for, it's called the Summer Challenge. And I had 2,500 people doing it.
Oh.
But now we're doing it for the again, it's on the Meta Age website. Please, guys, take a look and you'll see the video of everyone. And you'll see the kids challenge as well.
Hey, because I'm on a call pretty soon, but do me a favor, tell everybody, what's your UK? It's Wayne Leal, Leal. So Wayne Leal
.uk. Wayne Leal, WayneLeal.co.uk. There's tons of information there. And for the standalone Meta Age, because I separated the two, it's meta, META -age.com. And I'd love to see you guys as members there, because you see, in the same way I have to build the platform, I can only do it with the family doing it with me. So thank you for your time, John. And guys, I look forward to hearing your stories.
Love it, buddy. You have a great night, man. I'll hit you up tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Be good, bro.